Hello, Paul.
Success. I think success. Let me, can somebody speak and I can hear volume?
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Okay, try that.
Hello. Hi.
There it is.
Awesome. Okay.
Hi, Kat.
Hi there. Before we start, I want to introduce my interpreter, Joe, and on top.
Hi, Jill.
And Moriah
Hi, Moriah.
is on the bottom.
Wonderful. Hi, nice to meet you.
And I work with them too. Sometimes they work for interpret for me in my school.
Oh, really? Oh, great.
Interpreter. So yeah, I know them. So that's why I try to keep my podcast with a team of 2 interpreters that are comfortable with each other and interpret together. So they're here tonight for that.
Fantastic. I love it.
Awesome. Okay, and then we have to kind of like wrap things up around 6:45. I'm gonna bring in someone really quick. And
Okay.
then finish up by 7.
Done.
Okay. So first up, I wanted to know, how are you? How have you been in Chicago?
Busy.
Yeah.
Very good, but busy to the point of I don't know how I find time to breathe. Writing and acting. I always, Kimberly and I have been writing. We've been working on a couple of projects, and we take on these projects with a certain timeline in mind that we know we have allotted to write. And then movie acting projects come along and suddenly start whittling that timeline down until we are in just the most extreme writing, like an impossible deadline, impossible commitments. And so there's not a lot of sleeping, but otherwise great.
Yeah, because I wanted to enjoy the last movie, the case of Mystery Lane. Oh, wow. It is good. It's really good. I just like the dynamic and the chemistry between you and Amiee. I'm not watching throughout the whole movie. After meeting you in Chicago, I'm like, wow, that is just Paul. I mean, that's the way he acts. I mean, normally you talk to people there. I mean, it was a really good character. It was a really good movie. And me and a couple of my friends would have hoped that movie would become, like a series movie, now that you're both going to become in detective class at the end of the movie. I was like, I can't believe
yeah, we have a team.
It was a really good movie. So I know you mentioned something that was like your dream was that you wanted to become like a character in a mystery movie or a police detective, police kind of thing.
For a long time, the mystery series came along at a really good time. I've been wanting to be part of a mystery series for a long time. And one of my favorite comedies of the past decade is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Partly because it's so silly and it's so fun and it has a lot of heart. And the script for Mystery Lane felt about as close to Brooklyn Nine-Nine as a script could get. And it was exactly the role that I feel like I was born to play, doing voices, doing characters, just being silly. And it really is an extension of myself. It is me at my most childish, enthusiastic. I feel like it was tailor-made for me, and I think there's a very good chance we do more.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be more mystery movies and cases of Mystery Lane that was not for you and Amiee. Hopefully there'll be more of that because we really like that movie. It was a lot of, this is funny, that's cute, so good. At the end, we're like, Another mystery.
Well,
That.
the way that they left the movie with the two of us teaming up feels like they kind of have to write more, right? Like they have to.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Of course. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
There was another movie that you wrote. You wrote and produced Moriah, Lighthouse. I really liked that movie. It was a lot of emotion. It was just beautiful. So what was the story behind it? Like how did you come to write and then eventually like make a movie out of that? It was a really good movie.
Thank you. So that movie was I co-wrote with a friend of mine, Terry Cunningham, and it was based on a book by a woman that he had been friends with for some time. And actually, it was 4 books. Like your
Yeah.
well done.
Thank you.
Oh, you got the shirt too. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I got the original shirt. One of the
That's so
originals.
great.
I was trying to decide what to wear today. I didn't have my 3 white men shirts on the laundry, so I didn't really wear that. So that's fine. I wear the original one and have my 3 men with me for the podcast.
Nailed it. You nailed it. So originally it was 4 stories that we condensed into a single story, and it's actually set on an island in Ontario originally. It takes place at a small fishing village in Ontario, and our producer said we could shoot this in France. And we said, why not? Let's write it. We wrote the script for Ontario, and then we rewrote it to shoot in France. And then as soon as we got the movie set in France, we realized there was a whole culture that we needed to explore. And there were customs, and there was, culinary, and all of these different elements that we wouldn't have gone out to the fanciest restaurant in Ontario in a fishing village, but now we have this beautiful French town and we should go explore that. So the movie changed pretty dramatically from the original story to about this young woman tending a lighthouse or wanting to restore a lighthouse in France. In the book, she has hand built all of the cabins at their fishing resort. She's a woodworker, but in France, we didn't have a fishing resort. So we gave her a wood studio, and, it was a lot of changes, very frantic changes that we made over the course of writing that script.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think about it. I know you have been in a couple of movies with Kimberly Sustad and Rachel Boston. I mean, I really enjoyed the movie Dating the Delaneys.
Thank you.
It's a very good movie. I mean, there's a lot of quirks and a lot of quotes between you two. You two have a really good chemistry. Same thing with The Last Bridesmaid. That I really liked how Rachel character brought out a little bit of your character when you were working on that campaign for veterans. And so if you could tell me a little bit more of your experience with Rachel between those 2 movies.
Rachel is great. She's a great person to have in a scene. She's a wonderful scene partner, and she's a very good actor. And she's able to just be present. And there are certain actors that are very prepared, and that they want things to look a certain way. And there are certain actors that are happy to just jump into a scene and see what happens. And I've been really fortunate. I'm very much, I don't really over prepare anything. I just kind of learn the lines, sort of, and then I get in front of the camera and see what happens. And what that allows is a real exchange of energy and a feeling of two people being really connected. And that's why when I act with Rachel or when I act with Kim, because they're both similar in that respect, that it feels like, wow, you have such good chemistry. What chemistry is it's an open exchange of energy. If you meet somebody at a bar and you're flirting, you haven't already predetermined what you're going to say. You're just listening to them and you're reacting and you're being yourself, and there's chemistry. And that's how good scenes are born, when two actors come in with nothing and give themselves to the other person. So I discovered working with Rachel on The Last Bridesmaid. We worked very similarly. We were both present. We could have fun. We were playful. And I think jumping into Delaneys, which felt a little bit like a sequel, or a continuation of that relationship, we already knew each other as actors and as people. And in the movie, we play two people that have known each other for a long time, but have never connected romantically. And it's really easy to feel comfortable around somebody and have a shorthand with them, and that easy rapport when you do know them very well and you work very well together. And I think that's what made both of those movies successful.
That's awesome. Because I like Rachel, and I'm starting to rewatch some of Kim's movie that her work. I was like, okay. I mean, I really like Christmas by Starlight. There was a lot of, yeah. I mean, I was like, why would you treat her like that? Or she's planning to save her parents. No, at the end, I was like, really? So tell me more about that movie. How, did you know Kim before that movie? I think you co-wrote with Kim, that's right. So I'm trying to think
Yeah.
it was the first movie with her. Because I know it seems like you were a frequent movies or project with Kim.
That movie was the third
Okay.
acting together. So we acted in A Godwink Christmas in
That's right.
2018. And then, pardon me, when we were on that movie, we decided to write a movie together. And we started writing Christmas by Starlight. And then we got offered to be in Wedding Every Weekend while we were writing Christmas by Starlight. And then we acted in Christmas by Starlight. So we'd known each other for a couple of years by that time.
That's really cool. I mean, I forgot about Wedding Every Weekend, but I knew about the Godwink for Christmas, but totally forgot about Wedding Every Weekend. Okay. I'm trying to remember from, I think it was Chicago Romadrama that we talked about the cameos and the Wiseman and Baby that you wrote again with him and Terry, right? He was also a writer of that movie or produced.
No, Terry Ingram directed, but Kim and I wrote Three Wise Men together. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I get that right. So how did the cameo work out again? I mean, were they both in town, or were you actually filming both movies at the same time? Or was it overlap? I'm just curious.
Do you mean the cameos in Unexpected Christmas and Andrew's movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were in town filming at the same time, and they just thought it would be funny to appear in each other's movies. And I think Tyler suggested to the network that Andrew appear, and Andrew said, if I'm going to appear in Tyler's movie, he should appear in mine, and they just swapped.
Yeah. Because I said that starting from that movie to every single movie, we would see a cameo of you, and it came movie with the 9 lives.
Yeah.
Of Christmas.
9 kittens.
9 kittens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kimberly she made a cameo in
3 Wise Men.
And the Baby. Well, my brain.
Yeah.
It's been a tough week at work, so my brain is like, but really cool how the cameo or the that one. Oh, sure, why not? And from one movie to another movie, I was like, wait a minute, is he in this movie or not? So that was really pretty cool, and a lot of fans are really liking that.
It's really fun to do. It is really for the fans. It's for the true fans. People that are not familiar with the movies, it doesn't interest them. If you're coming to Hallmark for the first time and seeing these, they don't care. But it's for the fans. It's almost like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or any sort of TV crossover episode when you get to see your characters interact with the other characters. It really is joyful to be part of in front of the camera, but also the response from the fans has been so strong. I think the network realizes just how fun it is. I don't think there will be an end to the cameos. I know in Lacey's movie, I think maybe Christopher Palaha showed up, and did Mark Declan, there was a few cameos in that one.
Yeah. Got a couple of movies that I worked. So I'm looking forward to Uma Thurman or have a new movie coming up. Do you have any? I know you have a few writing projects in the works, but do you have any movies or acting in the works or coming up? Okay, you're not gonna talk. That's fine.
Maybe.
I totally respect that.
I'll tell you this. We're writing two, and we may be appearing in 2 or just 1. I think 1 for sure, but maybe both.
That's great. I look forward to that. Will there be another movie with 3 of you guys in it?
Oh,
Andrew, Tyler.
I know. Well, I hope. I pitched the network not a sequel, but another, like it was 3 Amigos, basically. We pitched them that. They're definitely interested in doing a follow-up. The problem with sequels is it's just really hard to write a compelling story. You know, we've seen the brothers fulfill their emotional arcs. They've all found romance. You know, they've come back together as a family. Difficult to write a sequel with the elements that make those movies so special, but we think there's a way that we can do it by the 3 of us teaming up again and doing some other, I don't know. We had so much fun that I would be really, really disappointed if we don't get to do something together again.
Yeah, I know. I will try to get all the band to be vocal. We know we need those 3 guys again together. I mean, because when the movie ended, the 3 Wiseman and the Baby, when it ended, we thought, like it could be a sequel, but not like the original, like you finally got together with the woman you were training her dog, and Taylor was with her in act over miscommunication when he left the job, and Andrew, I was hoping he would find love with Thomas and Mom. So there was like just different possibilities. But like I said, it could be also a standalone movie. But like all of us, we would have different ideas or different opinions or what if this or what if this. But I'm hoping, I'm praying there will be another project not related with the three white men and a baby. Like we are mingle, like we start on something else. So that will be hoping for.
You and me both. I would love it if there was a way to get that movie made and there was a story that made sense. Absolutely. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up hope.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay. I have three different questions I asked a couple of my friends on my podcast account and my personal account that I was interviewing you, and if there was any questions that they are curious about, they want to ask. So I put them in a board this morning at work, and I draw three.
Okay.
We get more from the podcast we're gonna have at the end of the podcast. So question number one is from Denise, who is known as Buster's mom, age 67. She wants to know what it was like working with the legend Tim Conway in Surprised by Love.
It was one of the greatest professional experiences I've ever had. He was so sweet and gentle and so funny, and he was really happy to be there. He was really happy to be part of the movie, and he was so happy to talk about the Carol Burnett show and to talk about the Apple Dumpling Gang, which I grew up watching. And I asked him a million questions and he would just talk and talk. And everybody wanted to know. Everybody had questions for him and everybody wanted to talk to him. And he was so gracious and he never seemed to get tired of answering the questions. He was such a lovely host and absolutely hysterical with, you give him a prop, you give him anything to work with, and he would just have the entire crew in stitches, just shaking behind the camera, watching him be brilliant in this little Hallmark movie. It felt like we had won the lottery. It was so wonderful. I'll never forget. He was on set for about a week, and it was one of the best weeks of my life professionally.
That's awesome. Okay. I'll make sure Denise knows once I release the whole podcast. Hopefully tomorrow it's done now. Another question from Jill Engel. How did you get started in throwing outside of a box character that you would like to play in the future?
So 2 questions. How did I get started? In the strangest way possible. I was a carpenter for a number of years before or after I graduated from high school. I was, from very early on in my life, I only wanted to be a carpenter. I only wanted to build houses. And after high school, I did that for about 4 years. And then I just got tired of working in the rain in Vancouver. And a friend of mine was working in film, doing some background performer work. And he said, you should come and try it. So I thought I needed to take an acting class to do that. So I took an acting class and I just went, wow, I love this. And I quit my job framing houses. I went to theater school for 2 years and then graduated from theater school with no idea how to become an actor. So I went back to carpentry for about 4 months. And then a friend of mine from school called and said, hey, somebody that had seen you in the final performance at college had an agent, and his agent really liked you and said, if you want an agent, you should call him. And I called him and he said, come in and audition for me. So I auditioned and he signed me up. The role that I put on tape for him that I auditioned for, he sent into casting and I got that job, my very first audition. And I just kind of never looked back. And Is there a dream role? Bill Murray has always been probably my biggest influence in terms of comedy. Ghostbusters is one of, if not my favorite movie of all time. And Bill Murray in particular just makes me so happy in that movie. Maybe being Peter Venkman in Ghostbusters would be my dream role, something like that. Or something really dark, like a killer, like the Zodiac killer, something really, I can get pretty dark. I can get pretty dangerous.
Sometimes going to have to deal with like, oh, too dark. I can't watch it.
I know.
But yeah, I like to see a lot of actors portraying different kind of roles, different kind of movies, like romance, father one, mother one, family one, mystery, serious, not serious, funny. So it's really nice to see how all actors try things out. And if there any movies or any roles that you feel like were challenging for you, or you feel like, no problem, I could do it with my eyes closed. Because
No, they're terrifying. There are roles that are terrifying to me. The character of Brick in Tennessee Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I saw Paul Newman play that role, and I thought that would be a dream role for me. But I'm 20 years into an acting career, and I still don't feel remotely qualified. I would be terrified to undertake something like that. Or, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Those types of characters and performances are terrifying because they're not safe. You have to step way out of your comfort zone. At Hallmark, I'm very much in my comfort zone. But to take on something of that magnitude is terrifying. And maybe one day I will, but yeah, I'm probably scared of most roles that are outside of my comfort zone. There's a real fear of looking stupid. There's a fear of looking like you're not qualified or you don't know what you're doing. There's a real vulnerability to taking on those challenging roles. And I'm absolutely, I'm not somebody who wants to look stupid, and it probably prevents me from really challenging myself a lot of the time. That's the candid answer.
yeah, I appreciate the honesty. I know some actors or people that have a group, or I don't want to call it a club, but a group, or just and they stay in there. They're not sure about going out there because who knows what's gonna happen out there, and if you're gonna be successful, or would you be wildlife, or you'll be that's just the guy who plays Hallmark movies. I mean, just no, or that kind of thing. So that's really good, honest answer. Very vulnerable that you're not sure you want to do a bigger war other than just Hallmark with the heart in, I would like to say.
Yeah, I love what I do, and there is an artistry in the work that I do for Hallmark, and I do still find ways to challenge myself. Even, pardon me, Cases of Mystery Lane. I pushed the limits of the characters, and I'm pushing myself in a direction in that role that I haven't done at Hallmark. And there is a little bit of risk even in that. But I wouldn't say that I feel like even that role is particularly scary to me. I don't have to be terribly vulnerable to step into those shoes. And I think honestly, maybe I'm okay with that. I don't feel like I'm underserved creatively. I don't feel like I'm not fulfilled creatively. I actually really, really like the place that I find myself in. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I don't need to feel the fear. Like I'm a dad and I like to make people laugh and feel good. And I'm able to do that. And I feel pretty satisfied, pretty fulfilled in that.
Okay, that well, kind of like a three-part question. Okay, this one is gonna be a tough one, but I think you got it. This one is
Okay.
from Debbie McCraw. She wants to know when it comes to writing, that you start at a young age, that you keep like a notebook of ideas, stories, and that you imbibe from it after you got older, because you are a very excellent writer. And she goes, I need a Paul Campbell student, a student possible.
Thank you. That's lovely. I was not a writer so much as a young kid, but I was a reader. I read every single book. My parents were both big readers. My sister was a big reader, and I read every single book that came through the house, from Sidney Sheldon and Dean Koontz and Stephen King to my sister's Sweet Valley High collection and all the Babysitters Club. I read everything, all the Hardy Boys, and I would read, yeah, everything. I had such a love for literature. And then I didn't really start writing. I actually wrote a script when I was about 25, just for fun, and never did anything with it. And then I didn't really write again until 2015. I sold a half-hour comedy to a Canadian TV network and wrote 3 scripts of that. And the show didn't end up getting made, but I did write 3 scripts. And then I sold another half-hour comedy pilot to another Canadian network and wrote 1 script. And that also didn't get picked up. And then that was it until I sold the pitch for Sun, Sand, and Romance. That was that I produced that movie, and I knew that the network was looking for movies that took place in the summer, and I thought I can write that. So I wrote a concept, and they bought the concept, and then they hired other writers to write the script. And about a week before we shot the movie, I said, none of the dialogue works. I don't like it. It's not funny. It's not what I want to do. Can I write the dialogue? So they gave me the script and I wrote the dialogue while we were shooting. And then it worked out really well. And I think that was me stepping into this world of feeling like maybe I could do this. And then when Kimberly said, hey, I have this idea for a movie, I said, let's write it. Let's just write the script. And that was Christmas by Starlight. And that's how it started.
That was good. I love reading. I mean, I will read book and book, but I mean, I was during the pandemic, I think, and I was working from home, and I had a lot of flexibility at the teacher, because we're not teaching all day. It was more like a block day. So like it would be like Monday and Friday it will be first hour, second hour, third hour. Tuesday and Thursday it will be fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh hour. And the one day it will be Independence Day. So that will give us an opportunity to meet with the students virtually, one-on-one. And so I was not really happy about teaching at home, but of course everybody was at home and the world was shut down and stuff. So I started slowly going over to the book because I had some books unread, and I bought all of the banned books that are banned in high school or middle school. My daughter reads half of it. She was like, this is a good book, why? Don't ask me why. I mean, people out there, they're so good. I mean, if you're banning these books, then how our kids will learn about different society and how we become what we are today. Like with the thumb, you guys, interpreters, help me out. LGBT Q. Okay, I got it right. I always get a lot of mixed up, so I didn't want to disrespect anybody. But all of that,
Plus.
and I feel like kids these days have it more harder than our generation back then, because it wasn't as bad or as serious. I picked up a book, I started reading. I'm a huge fan of Colleen Hoover.
Colleen Hoover?
The really good author, Colleen Hoover. She had a whole bunch of books, and I would just like read and read and read. Most of my kids had testing today, so what I do, I read.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really good. So reading helped, and drawing helped. So yeah, we both grew up. I like to write, but not as often as I should.
There's something I found such a lovely creative outlet in writing that I was really unexpected. I thought it would be fun to, write my own dialogue. And I've always liked to write jokes, but there's something really cathartic about writing the human experience and telling stories about people that are maybe underrepresented, or giving a voice to people that are underrepresented. And there's a lot of power in the pen. There's a lot of power in the written word. And it's such an extraordinary form of expression to hear your own words and your own thoughts expressed through, another actor's vehicle or another actor's sensibility, but to be able to share your thoughts and your feelings. The idea that we write what we know is very true. You'll see little bits of me and little bits of Kim in every single character. In Three Wise Men, each of those boys is a third of me, who I am. I identify with a piece of each of them. And there's also something a little bit vulnerable about sharing yourself in that way. People don't watch that movie and go, oh, I see Paul in there. But it's very much me, and it's very much Kim. The way that we see the world, the way we experience trauma and hardship is represented in those stories, in every story we tell.
Yeah, right. Like with me with writing, I mean, ever since I had Kim, my daughter, and then my son, like when I was pregnant with my daughter and when I was pregnant with my son, I would like come up with a short story about them. And it was like for my daughter, my cousin and I both wrote a story called How Does the Ladybird Lose Her How Does the Ladybird Get Their Spot? So it was really cool. It was about going with two sisters who don't get along, and then the little sister found the ladybug, and so on. So my cousin and I wrote that story for my daughter, and I'm trying to develop a story about a little monkey or something for my son. Right now, I'm trying to finish a family story. My grandmother passed. I want to say 2 years this upcoming November. She tells us a story about the time we sleep over. So I try to create the story and then drag on the story called The Magic Carpet. So I try to incorporate the original story along with different kind of stories from Disney movies like Aladdin, Jungle Book, Sleepy Beauty and the Beast, and all of that, try to incorporate that. So I'm still working on that for my kids. So writing never stops. To keep going the years go by. Like, wait a minute, this is a sounding good. I'm going to change it up a little bit. So I know exactly how to mean about writing. Yep. That's all of the question from the three people. I have about 3 minutes for an opportunity for you. If you want to ask anything or anything you want to know about me before we invite one person in for a game of fun before we end the podcast.
Yeah, I want to know what inspired this podcast for you, and what is your goal? What is your angle, or what is the thing that will make this podcast unique to you? What will this experience be for, moving forward, and what do you want to build this into?
Well, I started thinking about the podcast in Romadrama, West Palm Beach. After I met Tyler, everybody, my sister, Dara, the Queen of Hallmark, Gabrielle, the Dutch Benders, Button, Swing My Heart podcast, and we all connected through Facebook, Instagram before the event. As soon as we got to the event, we were like hiking like each other. We haven't seen in 20 years. I was thinking, I don't know if I should do a podcast. I want to do a podcast not just about Hallmark. I'm going to try to branch it out, Hallmark, and then my fellow podcast friend and my fellow author friend too. And I'm making it kind of for myself. I'm trying to develop a podcast. Like, I'm a special needs man with a special needs son, 7 years ago from the car crash. And I'm also a deaf and hard of hearing person. I also teach the deaf and hard of hearing kids, K through 12. Right now I teach high school. And I wanted to share a podcast within the Hallmark world, writers, directors, actors, actresses, podcast world, author world, and my own personal world. To try to get information out there, like how much I like Hallmark and how much it does for me, and interviewing people and making fun with people. Same thing with podcasts. Why do you start a podcast? Podcast for Hallmark, podcast for country music, podcast for random things, and author, what made you write this book? How did it connect with Hallmark movies? If there's books based on some movies, so not just about Hallmark. I'm working on branching out, launching the podcast. So I'm hoping to do that. But I'm the only concern in my time. I teach a full year and I have to summarize. So I try to do maybe 2 podcasts a month, depending on my 2 teams of interpreters, and of course the actors and the actress and their time with the filming, because I know a lot of them film Christmas movies over the summer, and a lot of them so I try not to thinking, okay, how am I going to do this? I have 2 people in the work for May and June. I'm hoping to confirm. And you, my friend, need to put a good word for Tyler for me. He's a hard person to get a hold of. I have to wait 6 months to interview him. That's fine.
I'll talk to him. He is hard to get in touch with.
For sure.
He's slippery. I'll put in a word.
I'll put in a word for you. Like when he had Shamira movie out on live, he made a personal comment that he did all the captioning. But Shamira, thank you. Hey, it would be interesting for you to be on my podcast. Thanks, man. No response. Okay, I'll try again in a couple of weeks. Okay.
He is, to his credit, he is he's probably the busiest guy that I know, aside from myself. So it's not that he's not engaging. He probably just doesn't have capacity to even, he never stops working, and I love that about him. But I'll talk to him. I'll give him a little nudge.
Project and a family project, doing something for all of us. So he's wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you for the question. I'm going to go ahead and invite the special person in to end this fun podcast. All right?
Okay.
Hello, Kim.
Hi. Can you hear me?
That we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Hang on a second. Let me figure this out.
Figure it out.
Oh my goodness.
You
Look on the
sound
main
great.
Screen. You can see stop video. Just click on that if that helps.
Okay. There we go. I got it. Hey, how are you?
Wow, you did it. Hi.
Hi. How's it
Welcome to the
going?
show.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Where are you coming from? Say, where are you located?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
We're
So
52 minutes away from each other.
yes.
52 minutes by scooter, 52 minutes
No,
by
52
hang
minutes
glider?
by car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Do you see each other often?
We saw each other Good Friday. So that was like the only time we saw each other since December. So
Sounds like a great Friday.
it was fantastic.
Great. Well, take it away, Kat. What do you have planned for us?
Okay, Kim, you want to kick off? If you have any questions for Paul, this is your opportunity for the next 5 minutes before we wrap up with the game. This on that.
Yes, I have
Okay.
one question.
Yeah.
What was your most favorite role that you've ever done for any of your films?
Man. Oh man.
Killer question, huh?
You can't, this is one of those can't win questions because
Yeah.
no matter what I say,
Mhm.
someone's going to come up to me and go, "Oh, really? Oh, really? That was your favorite? What about this?" I'll say this. I really, really liked playing Stefan in Three Wise Men and a Baby.
Mhm.
I think because we got to tell the story about somebody experiencing some mental health stuff that I am not unfamiliar with, and to represent a group of people that really don't get a lot of highly visible screen time, especially not at Hallmark thus far. And this is changing, but it was a first for that. And also that character speaks very much to my own neuroses and my own nerdy tendencies. But maybe the character that I was born to play, it's a toss-up. It's between Window Wonderland, that really playful, sarcastic, goofy, funny guy, and in Cases of Mystery Lane, the playing Alden as a detective who's just like a kid in a candy shop, silly and enthusiastic and nerdy. Kind of sums me up perfectly.
For sure. Three Wise Men is one of my favorites that you were in. I love the movie with Kimberly Sustad, Wedding.
Wedding Every Weekend.
The Wedding, yeah, that Wedding Every Weekend. That's a great one too. I'm slowly catching up to watching all of the Paul Campbell films. So
it's a lot. It's a tall order. Listen, you're doing great. It's a lot to ask. I think it's 12 or 13 now that we're up to. And I'll say this. If the question was favorite characters, favorite movies overall, that's also a tough one, and maybe not the same as favorite characters, because a character is just one part of the bigger picture. I don't know if I could name a favorite movie. Definitely not without getting into a lot of trouble, for sure.
Makes total sense. You don't have to answer that, then. We don't want you in trouble, Paul.
No.
You're great in no matter
Yeah.
what you play in.
You could
So
just wink
love it
twice
all.
for that. Wink one
you.
for enough.
Okay. I don't know why I do this. When
I do
wink.
that
It's
too.
not-
I'm like, whatever.
And maybe that's why my son always looks at me funny when I wink at him. He
Yeah,
thinks that
I
I'm
can't wink for anything either. It's
no.
awkward to me. I'm like, okay.
I don't know if anybody should be winking anyway. You know, like I don't, unless you're like an 85-year-old grandpa to your
Oh my
grandkid. I think winks have just got to go. There's no scenario where you're like, you know what this could use? A wink.
Even the emoji wink is a little off sometimes, I think.
It is like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
For sure.
Yeah. I have to also say, watching Maria interpret and actually play out the wink and the sort of awkward wink is bringing me a lot of joy here.
It's one of the coolest things to watch is the interpreter with Kat. I love it.
It's really great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like with Romadrama in Chicago, I have my interpreter that who I also work with. Tyler was taking a video. He was like to me, and then the interpreter, he's like,
it's so cool to watch. It's so cool.
It's like, and I messaged him. I was like, "Were you taking a video, me and my interpreter? Because if that's the case, that's okay." He was. I'm very fascinated in how the interpreter knows all the information and keep you in presence with that, and I really appreciate that. I just want to make sure you get everything. I was like, yeah, all is cool. You know, he was like, I'm going too fast or whatever, just that. And I'm like, I can read your lips and all that. He goes, of course you can.
I think that's the fascinating thing to me is I speak very fast sometimes, and the speed with which the interpreters are able to keep up and it seemed to be expressing everything is really extraordinary. What a skill. It's incredible. I'm really impressed.
Thank you. So Kim, we want to kick off this and that. We have about 6 minutes before we have to
Okay.
Awesome. Do you have the first question, Kat?
Me? Let me think. I would say, okay, let me think. Ice cream. Okay. Rocky Road or no.
Cookie dough.
Mint. Chocolate chip.
Right. Oh.
Same.
Rocky Road. Yeah, wait.
Rocky Road. I'm Rocky Road. You're not.
Do you prefer listening to music on an iPod or a physical copy of something like a compact disc or a record?
Oh man, probably the iPod, just for portability. Like, yeah, I don't even have a record player, so I'd be inauthentic if I answered that.
I only listen to music in my car. Because I like to listen to the beat. That's the only time I listen to music.
Yeah, my radio's broken in my car, so I guess I can't listen to it in my car anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Would you prefer winter or summer?
Summer, a million times over. The sunshine. It rains 9 months a year in Vancouver, so we live for that 3 months of summer.
Yep. I summer too. I don't like winter. Snow.
Yeah, Wisconsin. Oh, crazy.
Right. One day it's 70, the next day it drops to 40. Seriously, I should start running outside and they're doing that to me.
Yep, all the time. So the next one I have is Italian food or Mexican food?
Oh man. Probably Italian food.
Same.
Pizza, lasagna, yeah.
Same.
It's hard. It's a tough. It's pretty close. That one's pretty close.
Oh, it's so tough.
If I had to choose, Italian and Mexican, I would say Mexican. Yeah, I would say
For me, it's Italian. Gotta be. I love noodles. Any kind of noodles.
Yeah.
All the carbs.
I'm on board.
Paul, do you have a different question on top of your head?
How about rom-com or drama?
Rom-com.
Rom-com. Rom-com.
Yes. 100%.
I don't
Okay,
mind drama for Lifetime. But when it comes to Hallmark, it's more like I would like to do rom-com or family relationship or dynamic.
Correct. Yeah, I feel the same way.
What about Christmas or off-season?
Christmas hands down for me.
I go all out on Christmas. That's the only holiday in my house with it like a throughout Christmas.
Okay.
Same.
Good. Me too.
Not everything.
Me too.
I'm buying new things. About something on there. I'm buying my husband like it's July. I'm like, hello, Christmas and July. Both of my kids are like, please, ma'am, you're not watching a Hallmark movie about Christmas and July. I'm like, you see a little sign on the TV. It's like Christmas and July. So leave it alone.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't think I have any other questions. I think you've tapped me out.
Tim, do you have one more or we could start wrapping up?
I think I've went through everything that I had. My most important one I've gotten answered. So
Awesome.
It was important.
to me it was.
I know.
Okay, before we wrap up, I wanted to say I've been thinking I talked with Tim, and she was the only person that knew in advance that I was interviewing you, and her birthday is on April 30th. So this was part of her birthday gift that she would come out of the last 10 minutes of the podcast so she could have some time with you, Paul.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. And thank you so much. Something cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm one of those spur of the moment kind of people. So we'll see what the day has in store on Sunday.
Right.
And thank you so much for the video you recorded for me. That was so sweet from Kat and Ashley. I loved it.
You're so welcome. That was fun. It took me forever. I just was like, I meant to do the thing. And then finally I was like, I just have to I'm going to do this. So better late than never. Yeah.
It meant a lot.
Good.
Well, I just wanted to tell my interpreter, Joe and Moriah, thank you for being the interpreter for me and Paul and Kim for the podcast tonight. I appreciate both of you. And Paul, thank you for being my second guest and launching my podcast.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun and nice to meet you officially. Kimberly, happy birthday. And Kat, I think you've got something great here. I'm excited to see what this blossoms into.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. All right. Well, have a great weekend, guys. Do something fun. If the weather's nice, get outside. If the weather's not nice, pick up a book.
Done.
That'll be me.
Done.
Sounds good.
Right.
Have a great night,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Have a great evening. All right. Enjoy your day.
Thank you for ending on time. I'm grateful. I appreciate that.
No
Thank
problem. Thank you. See you later.
you.
Bye later.
Yeah.
Bye. It was fun.